Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to analyze Microstrategy and its stock MSTR. None of the content is financial advice. And this is the website strategy.com. This is the website of MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings and how it relates to the MicroStrategy's price. Right now, the price of MicroStrategy is not doing that great since it broke that 50-week moving average to the upside and then got rejected by the 20-week simple moving average back in early October 2025. The price has drawn down to now at around $217. It is now below the March 2025 and April 2025 drop as well. Again, not a good sign for MicroStrategy. The next levels of support are the $202, which is the from the Fibonacci levels. Again, it's still above the previous all-time high. Again, that is in 2021. That's the 1.618 drawn from the previous all-time high. So let's see if this holds at support. But what is more curious right now is, for now, please ignore the MNAV, which is still above 1.2 at it. But if you divide the market cap of MicroStrategy with the Bitcoin net asset value, that means the net asset value of all of the Bitcoins that they have on their balance sheet, that is the Bitcoins that they hold, at almost at around 642,000 Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin right now is at around 100k. So if you multiply 640,000 by 100k, roughly speaking, you would get 64 billion. So slightly more than 64 billion. That's the amount of Bitcoin that they hold on the balance sheet, which is the higher than the market cap. So the market cap of MSTR is lower than the raw Bitcoin holdings, but not the MNAV, because MNAV also includes, apart from the market cap of the basic shares, it also includes their debt and preferred stock. Again, that is still slightly higher at around 77 billion, but the raw value of the basic shares that they hold is lower than now the Bitcoin that they have on their balance sheet, which is again typical in bear market. But it's curious to see how it pans out in the next couple of months, if there is a further bullish momentum by Bitcoin and other cryptos, if this means that MSTR still has some wiggle room to run to the upside. But right now it's not looking good as it stands. Again, none of the content is financial advice. Coming back to our own website, cryptoweeklies.com, the base case for BTC for this market cycle was 159k. Right now, the price of Bitcoin, if you were to look at the current price of Bitcoin, it's in this green zone from the regression, that is the linear regression based estimation. Right now, the risk is at around 64%, but the price is at around 100k. The fair value per the linear regression based model on a log scale is at around 75k. That means the price is overvalued from the fair value, but that is typical in the bull market. The two standard deviation residual is all the way at around 189k. But let's say if Bitcoin manages to only come to about, let's say, 0.6 to 0.7 risk, then that target for BTC is at around 140k to 165k, the midpoint being 154k. So that's the bull case for BTC. The bear case is again going to the fair value and then going down some, as it usually does in the bearish scenarios of the asset class. Again, the bear case bottom, again, the dotted green line to the downside, is never actually reached. Again, this is again, the distance between the price and the dotted green line is usually, again, it's close to 2x of the dotted green line. Like the dotted green line is at around 18k right now. So the next major bottom for BTC could be somewhere between 35k and 45k, based on how we get there. So that's the major area of support. But in the short term for Bitcoin, some sort of a support is at around 75k. Coming to the MicroStrategy's 50-week simple moving average is at around $343, 20-week at around $315, and the 21-week exponential moving average is at $315. The 20-week simple moving average at $338. So within a span of let's say $310 to about $340, that's where major milestones are ahead to the upside. Before that, the $318 is also where the 2.618 fib level is also. So those are some of the key levels to watch to the upside. Coming back to MicroStrategy, again, this is the homepage of the website. If you go to proxy section over here, you would find the machine learning based price forecast for MSTR. Right now, if there is a euphoria case or bull case in the next 2 months, the machine learning model, this is only trained on the price of MicroStrategy since they started buying Bitcoin on their balance sheet in August 2020. So you can check when they started Bitcoin purchases in the purchases tab, and again, if you sort it by the first purchase, that was in 8/10/2020, that is 10th of August 2020. We are tracking this machine learning based price analysis since they started their Bitcoin strategy era or BAC, and these are the weekly price action of the MSTR stock and how it relates to the seasonal ARIMA based forecast. For that, we use the base case, that is the seasonal ARIMA based forecast, and the confidence levels to identify what is the one standard deviation bull case and one standard deviation bear case. The one standard deviation bear case for MicroStrategy is dropped to $150. Again, that would be somewhere lower, somewhere in the middle of the 1.618 and the previous all-time high at around, that is last market cycle's all-time high at around $130. So that's the midpoint of that. The base case is valuation going to about $270. So that is about, from the current price, about $60 higher, and in terms of percentage, about 30% higher, roughly speaking. In terms of the bull case, the euphoria bull case for MicroStrategy is at around $450. So $450 MicroStrategy would be at those levels where it was in July 2025, slightly higher than that 3.618. So if there is a macro bullish peak for Bitcoin, and if MicroStrategy rallies with Bitcoin's rally, then that $450 is the max bull case for MSTR for this year. If you look at some of the DCA model, again, this is also regression based model starting in August 2020. Right now, the regression based risk has gone down quite a bit again, but this is the polynomial regression model. This is not a linear model. Helps identify the non-linearity between the price and time. This is typically useful for assets such volatile assets such as crypto, and again, MicroStrategy being very heavily correlated with what Bitcoin does. Is a perfect candidate for such kind of models. This 2 standard deviation peak estimation is at around $312 again, which coincides beautifully with those moving averages over here and the 2.618. So that's one non-euphoria bull case for MicroStrategy in coming months is rally to about $310 to $312. The fair value is all the way around $205 again, which is very close to the 1.618 based bottom. So these are distinct models which do not interact with each other but still are pointing to some of the confluence zones. If there is a breakout, the max permissible ceiling per this model is around price action between $350 and $370 for MicroStrategy as it stands. And these are all live models. They update every 24 hours to help interact the model with the dynamic price action of everyday market cycle or everyday market price moments. So if you want to check out these models, you can check it out on cryptoweeklies.com, link on the bottom of your screen, all available for free, no signups required. The CAGR model is the compound annual growth rate based model, which simulates the 4-year market cycle theory in the asset class, where 3 years out of the 4 years the compound annual growth is positive, and in the bear market year it's negative, to account for the cyclical nature of the asset class. So for example, over here, the year to date return for MicroStrategy this year, or not just year to date, just the 1 year ROI, the trailing 1 year ROI is negative 33%, and that is in the middle of a Bitcoin bull season. So you could imagine what could happen if Bitcoin enters in the macro bear case. So that's why we have this simulation where the drawdowns are expected based on based on the 4-year market cycle theory. So per this model, again, the stretch goal for MicroStrategy this year is $500, which again MicroStrategy did achieve in 2024. So it was not too outlandish to expect a similar performance. So with that caveat in mind, again, this time around in 2025, MicroStrategy did go as high as about $450, slightly 450, between $450 and $460. So with that, again, these models try to tune out the noise as much as possible. This is a 15-year outlook, so these models would not be actually correct to the dot, but just trying to establish a trend based on the compound annual growth based model. If the expectation is in 2026, the drop is at around 45%, and the cool down is at around $250. Again, this is still, current price is below that case for 2026. So with that in mind, if there is a 3-year rally from that point where the price grows 45% annually year over year till 2029, the price could be at around $770. In 2033, around $1,100, again with 1-year drop of about 55%. And in 2039, this is the bull case at around $1,800, and in 2040 at around $1,900. That's the bull case, which has significant volatility to the upside and to the downside. The base case for MicroStrategy is the it's slightly more, at this point, slightly more realistic, where for 2025 the base case ceiling is at around $400. The drop in 2026, $277. In 2029, rallies to only $540. So comparing the base case with the bull case, what you would notice is that the drops are less severe in the base case, but the volatility is also, again, the rally to the upside is also capped. So these are the two possible projections. In the base case, the price goes to $1,100 in 2040. In the bull case, the price goes to $1,800 in 2040. So those models, again, they react dynamically to the price. The bigger picture is the bear case for MicroStrategy. In the bear case, it would take about 2040 to go to about $500. The base case, it would say in 2040 the price could go $1,100. The bull case is almost $1,800, $1,900. The Uber bull case also similar thing, but again the path or trajectory is slightly different. You would notice the hyper bullish case or Uber bullish case to be much more volatile to the upside, but downside volatility is more or less the same. So the support levels are essentially the same, just volatility to the upside are slightly higher. So that's how these CAGR models work. And the other side of these CAGR models is identifying the number of MicroStrategy shares needed to be a millionaire. If the price action were to go to $500, roughly speaking, as the bull case has predicted, the number of MicroStrategy stock needed to be a MicroStrategy millionaire would be less than 2,000. In 2025. In 2029, it would be less than 1,300. In 2030, less than 850. In 2037, less than 560, and in 2040, less than 530. So that's how the CAGR model interacts with the DCA model to help identify the number of shares needed or stock needed to reach that goal. Again, if your goal is different, you can divide it by 10, 20 to get to that 100K or 50K. Again, none of the content financial advice, just analytics and projections based on statistics. So with that, again, coming back to the current market cycle and the targets for this year, if MicroStrategy holds this support to at around between $205 to $202 and rallies to the upside, there is a good chance that if there is a bullish later half of November and December, the price could get to $320. If there is a further downside, the support is at around $150. And if there is some macro euphoria ceiling, then we go back to the $370 target per the regression based model, and per the euphoria case at around $444 or $445, which is the 3.618. That's the range for this year, between 150 to 3 to 430. With that, I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.